Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Welcome to episode 238 of Forever Exiled.
Good guess, man. I was guessing.
We are here. Big shout out to our patrons. Thanks so much for your support. Patreon gets you access to After Dark. It's our podcast after the podcast where we just talk more. And that's it. Thank you. We appreciate the support.
Sweet sell job, man. I'd sign up.
Who wouldn't?
I like it. Short and sweet, to the point.
Yeah, I'm not going to drag it out.
This episode's going to be 10 minutes. After Dark's going to be 5 minutes. It's going to be great.
After Dark will probably end up being longer. It's private league time. Time to start thinking about the private league.
Yeah, that's right.
That means After Dark. How's your week? I see you have I made a closed beta.
I made a closed beta. Way to go.
I made a closed beta.
Nice reading skills. In April 29th, 2012, Justin joined the Path of Exile community, which was during closed beta. That's 12 years ago, Justin.
Wow, that's crazy. 12 years.
That is a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then so when we hear Rory talking about like the animators being, being a little, not overwhelmed, but emotional because, people are noticing their rigs and their work now because they're working on a newer game in Path of Exile 2, kind of makes you, oh yeah, the game's 12 years old. Like, sure, they've made their updates, but there's a reason they're making Path of Exile 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy.
Congrats, Just. 12 years old. You're such a big boy.
I was so little then. How was your week?
Me first? It's been a tough week. More for my wife than for me. My wife received news that one of the most dearest people in the world to her is not going to make it past the weekend because of cancer.
Oh, no. That's too bad.
Yeah, she's not even 40. I think she's 38.
Damn. That's awful.
And she has 2 kids, a fantastic husband, and
Jesus, that's brutal.
One of those amazing friends, astonishing person. Like, as the husband of my wife, and I've met this person. They're wonderful. We used to see each other lots earlier in the day when my wife and I were first dating, but that's kind of like the relationship they had. They were like the closest of closest through the most formative times of their early adult life. And then of course they both get married and go their separate ways, but stay in contact and love each other dearly. And so, it's really hard to lose someone like that, especially at this stage of life. So it's been a tough week in that regards.
That sucks.
Not trying to drag anyone else through it. I don't mean it to be a Debbie Downer, but it's that, we had that kind of week this week. So, yeah. But my wife also, she had a birthday this week. And so she found out just the following day. Yeah. Yeah. And so we had a great time getting together with her siblings and their spouses. And I asked them to not bring their kids, who I love. But that side of the family has 10 grandkids. So I'm like, you know what? We're not going to be able to chill out and hang out and actually talk about anything we want if any of them show up. So you're getting babysitting. Or you're not showing up.
They come to your place or what?
Yeah, that was it. They just came out. Yeah, Erin went out for lunch with her siblings, and then they all came back here for dinner later on. And so it was 6 of us, and it was good. It was good. No kids. Nice. We all got babysitting. Some for the whole night. Some just for for the evening. But yeah, it was nice. It was good. So it's been a very wonderful and very terrible week, and that's. It's how it goes. Not trying to drag anyone through it, but we had that week and, it sucks. How about you?
My week was fine. It was really busy. My back's stupid, but went and did my MRI yesterday. Okay. So that's all done, which is nice. Got the pictures last night, which was
right. I've never done private before. So how did that go with our system?
Well, that's kind of cool when you do it private because you get I got the pictures last night, but I'll get like a full report May 1st. And then that will also go to my doctor in Cairo. I don't know if it's a radiologist. Somebody goes through it and frame by frame and then gives you a report on it. But going through the pictures is trippy. But it's also like, okay, cool. I don't know what I'm
It's interesting because you obviously want the problem to be fixed. That's your primary thing. So it's like, okay, thanks for the pictures. I love it. But at the same time, you don't get a lot of these tests done. And it's really cool and it's not your profession. This isn't what you're involved in the medical world. And so it's really cool to actually see pictures of your body.
Yeah.
You know gross. What I mean? Now, I'm not talking about pictures of you rubbing your nipples in front of the mirror. I'm talking
your full insides. It's so bizarre what that technology can do.
I've obviously had a lot of tests with the things that I deal with. And I remember that feeling. I still remember it. I still actually get excited when I get an ultrasound done of my neck or different areas. I always ask, every time I'm like a little kid, I ask for them to turn the monitor so I can see what it looks like and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty neat. So anyway, yeah, you had an MRI.
Yeah, I went for the MRI. That's the first time I've had an MRI done. Man, it is loud. Holy shit. Yeah, so loud.
Well, you put they make sure that you do your earplugs properly, right?
Yeah, you got earplugs, and then when I'm down, there's these pads that went in on here, and then
really
to make it even quiet. Plus, I think that's how you hear them, but it pushes in on the ears, so it makes it even quieter. And then these, like, once you get in, these arm things go. Anyway, it was an experience. I didn't mind it. I'm not a claustrophobic person, but I can definitely see how some people, like, as I'm going into it, I can feel my shoulders go whoop, and like
right, they're shoving you in there.
Yeah,
it's funny. Like you were talking about them hearing you. I've been in a lot of different MRI machines, and it's funny when you go in the old ones, you can barely hear them because the speaker that they speak to you through is like actually outside the machine. Then there's like the newer ones where it's like all about quality of life, right? It's like it's like you're going with a Lexus. You're going with a Honda, like an old school Honda Civic, right? Like it's just funny how the different quality of life things work, even with how they keep your neck straight.
Oh, I was so comfortable. Like the pillow that I was on, I was like, oh, this is chill. The little thing for my legs, I'm like, I can rest. And then all of a sudden it's like, the whole thing starts going. I'm like, holy hell. I can't imagine without earplugs.
That was good. How long was it?
It was probably, I think I was inside of it for about 30 minutes.
Nice.
But yeah, it was good. It was, like I said, I got the pictures, so I'm excited to actually talk to the doctor and figure out the next steps forward. But so last week when we did After Dark, I've been chilling on drinking a little bit as I've just realized with the back injury and stuff, I got really, really heavy into it. So I chilled a little bit. But when we did After Dark last week, that Friday was awful. I told you, it was just such a bad Friday. I was in so much pain. So I started drinking during After Dark. Continued to drink. Normally we hang out in the evenings on those Fridays. I didn't. I just went and hung out with Christina, laid on the couch, and continued to drink. Anyway, while I was on the couch, I got the results. I popped on to see the results from my blood work, which I shouldn't have done with Christina, also while drinking, because I'm scrolling through it going like, oh, look at this, but this. And then all of a sudden there's this big flag in this one spot. And of course, she's on Google trying to figure out what it is.
Right. And it's Google's telling her that you're going to lose your left eye along with your right leg.
For sure. Yeah. It was all related around liver disease. And I'm like, a doctor will tell me. It wasn't that bad.
You know, I'm a James Bond fan. I'm more of a Mission Impossible fan, but I've always enjoyed the James Bond movies. Not the culture of it. Okay, don't get all hoity-toity on me. It's just they're fun. I love Bond. They're fun movies. And yeah, but we're guys, so we don't catch on to all the offensive.
My wife likes it.
See, it's fine. But every time he gets a medical checkup, it's always, liver problems because of the alcohol. So, but he's fine, right?
Yeah,
so if Bond can
he's
still
been replaced
get
a few
shot
times,
8 times, right? Exactly. And I mean, he's so healthy. They started his origin story again. So, I mean,
my thing was something called gamma GT, which I guess is related to liver disease. And you're supposed to be between 0 and 30, but you'll get flagged if you're over, I think, 68 or 69. I was 77. When I went to talk to my chiropractor, I was talking to him about it. And he's like, the thing is, you were drinking beforehand, which is going to spike it. It's like 15 to 20 days of being relatively alcohol free for you to get a proper baseline. Not only that, but inflammation from the pain you're dealing with is going to spike gamma GT as well. So he's like, I've had guys come in here that are over 350 in that number. So he's like, I wouldn't worry about it. I was like, perfect.
Back to drinking. Wait, they didn't tell you not to drink for 2 weeks beforehand, or they did and you just didn't?
No, they didn't. They didn't. I was given the main reason I was doing the blood work was because I'd gone for the physical, but also there was blood work that they wanted done before the MRI, and everything was fine with regards to that. So,
I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, it was fine. I made a mental note to myself to check that stuff privately next time.
Right. That's right. Christina, I have to go to the bathroom for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Everything's fine. I checked. It's all good.
That's right.
I got stars. So
that's right. Stickers are in the mail.
Yeah. But otherwise the week was good. It was just really busy. It was a lot of driving again, which is really not great. My back hates driving. I did rearrange my office. My camera's different now. You might not be able to tell, but you used to not be able to see this part. Like you used to see much more of this
It's
part.
a little bit more head on, and it's pointing a little bit more down.
Yeah, I got rid of my top monitor. So I had a big 28 or 29 inch monitor above I have a, whatever this is, 32 or something widescreen, but I had one up above it, and that was my secondary monitor. But I just found it was messing with my neck too much whenever I was working off of it. So got rid of it. I actually added a little monitor now down below the monitor, and I need it still for when I work, but I wanted something that wasn't going to strain my neck so bad. So I rearranged everything while I was at it.
And you're still sitting at your standing desk?
Yeah, I was told again to stand more often. So I did actually fix everything up so I can very easily swap it. Haven't done it yet, but we have the technology.
All good things. That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise we started watching Shogun. Holy crap, that show is good.
Is
and
it really?
Would love it because it's all subtitles. Because
Nice.
we're watching the non-dubbed version, like the actual.
Yeah, I can't stand dubbed.
Yeah, and so it's all subtitles, except for it's kind of weird. So they speak Japanese and Portuguese, but when they speak Portuguese, they speak English. So the people who are speaking Portuguese are speaking English in the show, but Japanese is all subtitled. But it's very, very good. Yeah, we're not done it yet, but yeah, good show.
Awesome.
Other than
that's on our list. It's distant, but it's on our list.
It's very good. Yeah, I think you'll really like it, and because it's got subtitles. And then
Wasn't Fallout good?
Fallout was so good. I loved it.
They nailed it. They
did such a good job of
nailed it.
Not leaving me in a crazy cliffhanger at the end, but excited for another season. You know what I mean? Like I didn't end the season going like, oh, this really sucks that I got to wait 2 years. It sucked in the sense that I just loved it so much, but not so much so that the story was left in a bad way. Like I really, really liked it. And so did Christina. Yeah. She loved it too. So
yeah. From a non-fan perspective, great story.
Yeah.
Great show. From a super nerd perspective,
even better.
Great story, great show. And you know what? It probably is for me the best adaptation, a video game adaptation that I've ever seen.
Sure.
I personally really like The Witcher, even though I agree with Cavill. It is so far off base, but I do enjoy the story they're telling.
Sure.
So I think they've done a fantastic job with Witcher. Netflix has done a fantastic job with Witcher, but so many other quote unquote nerdy adaptations have been like Ring of Power. I really liked so much of it, but I
loved it, but I didn't know the book.
Absolute crap story. Well, the storytelling to me was probably good before it got edited, and they cut out way too much. There's so many stupid gaps, and it was one of those where Honest Trailers nailed it. I'm talking about Rings of Power. But
I liked it, but I didn't know any of the book, like other story to it. So
gotcha.
We really liked it. And then I didn't play really any of the games we usually talk about. I played some Stardew Valley. When you brought it up in one of our After Darks or something, I was like, I'm going to get back into it. So I like fully modded it and playing it with like a bunch of mods, and it's a very chill. I don't have to think about it in the evenings.
You modded it, even though there's a massive update that you haven't played yet?
Yeah, I love playing games where you can mod them and add like some quality of life stuff or new things or whatever. I love that stuff. So yeah. But that was basically my week. It was mostly driving and sitting here working or on Zooms. I'm trying to think. I feel like we went out a couple times, but it was work related. I did go out with a couple of the guys on Monday before we raced for dinner. We went to the Keg. It was fun.
Glad I didn't go. I can't even afford their coffee.
That was a Ryan choice. He had suggested 3 options just because Ian wasn't going to be coming. So let's do something a little bit closer. So we went to the Keg, and it was fun hanging out with them. But I ordered. I wasn't really hungry when I went, but I ordered a Caesar salad. Don't order a Caesar salad at the Keg. It was not good at all. Not only that, they don't do like options. I like to add chicken when I get a Caesar salad.
Sure.
So, but that wasn't listed on their menu as an add-on. So I said, "Oh, can I get chicken on the salad?" They're like, "Oh yeah, no problem." No joke. They brought me a huge plate with a salad, which was not very good, and just a breast of chicken sitting beside the salad. And I was like,
"What?" I mean, I get it, but. Know what's being ordered.
Right.
Talk about like the laziest.
It's so weird. I had to cut it. And then it was also like not breaded, but
it
there was
sounds
like a
really
skin
bad
to
when
it.
you say it like that, but I get what you mean.
Yeah,
like you
well-
want a chicken Caesar salad. That's like
Exactly.
them giving you all the ingredients separate, like
Yeah,
a
good luck, make
fajita,
it.
and then you do it on your own. That's
It was very,
really
it was a
funny.
very weird setup, but it was cool hanging out with them, and then we raced and stuff. So, yeah, you know what? It was overall it was a good week, and I'm excited to start moving forward with this stupid back and getting some answers.
Yeah,
Because
I'm excited for you too. May 1st.
Yeah, May 1st I should have all the reports and stuff, so that's good.
Good. Get that appointment in so that you don't.
It's already
accidentally
booked. They called
have
me
that
as soon as
fifth
they
kid.
got the but my doctor called me as soon as my blood work came in. I knew they were going to, because that one stupid number, I was like, oh, she's gonna call me for sure and be like, but anyway, so we booked it with plans for them to have the MRI information by the time I talk to her. So doctor's appointment's already booked.
Cool.
Anyway,
And did you lay any seed this week?
no, but I did buy
Grass
some.
seed. Grass seed. Don't
Oh,
get
I
all
laid
porno
so
on
much
me.
seed.
Yeah, so some for you and some for you. I seeded the
Seed
lawn on
everywhere.
the neighbor's side.
I didn't, but I did buy some today, and just to try it, just out of curiosity. Christina sent it to me. There's currently a sale on Scott's Tough Lawn Seed on Amazon, actually. So I bought
Right.
them. Yeah, it was cheap, man. It was like
I have
12 bucks a
never
bag.
even considered buying
No, me either. I've always gone into the
Scott's-
stores around us.
which
It was
one?
Tough. Scott's Tough.
Scott's Tough Builder.
It's Turf Builder Scott's Tough Custom Grass Seed. It was 12 bucks, 13 bucks a bag. Like, it was
Wow.
really, really good price. It was 51% off. So I bought 2 of those. They're supposed to come in later today. But so I'm gonna put that down, because the front yard has been treated and taken care of, and my guys come through. It's going to get aerated pretty soon. So I think once he aerates it, I'm going to level it a bit, and then
Do you have a leveler?
I do, yeah. Yeah, you can borrow it if you ever need. It's a big job. Like, it's a lot of work doing the leveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're definitely welcome to borrow it anytime. But I talked to him about it. I'm going to do a little bit of leveling and then put the seed down, get it fertilized, and just see what happens. It's actually grown in pretty decently since he's done the work, like with how awful those stupid raccoons and crows made it with
Sure.
the grubs, but it's all been treated. It's all been taken care of. So, but yeah, the price of that seed was so good.
Yeah, I see it now. Scott's Turf Builder Tough Lawn Seed Blend.
Yeah. The blend was like decent. I mean, the blend of grass is all great for cool season.
It's 3 pounds. It's
Yeah. So that's about
1.5
1600 square feet per
Yeah.
bag. So I bought 2 bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. The price was really good. That's why I was like, yeah, sure. I may as well try it, because
Hook a brother up.
yeah, for that price. And it was same day delivery. Get out of here.
What?
I'm so bad when I see some stuff that's like same day delivery. If you're over $25, I'm like, damn it. What else can I make to get over that 20? You know, if it's
Right,
like under
yeah.
the 25, I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes they do it on purpose too. They're like 24.35 is the price of something, and they're like same day delivery over $25. You're like, damn it, I gotta find something else. To get in
That's
here.
right. That's right.
Yeah, but yeah. So how's your lawn?
It looks like garbage, but I took advantage. We have like a couple days ago, it started raining, and it's gonna rain
Yeah.
for like
of
2
rain.
weeks straight on and
It was
off.
beautiful
So
before that, though.
it was fantastic weather, and I'm not complaining. I mean, garden people love the rain. Give me less work to do. That's no problem. So I just went out and I hand seed. I'm so tired of like doing the spreader and stuff like that. Like, I just hand seed, and I just put it in the gaps for the most part, because I do have like some pretty bad bare splotches. So I'm just going to fix that. Do overseeding another time, but I got to fix the actual bare spots. And so I just went out and I did that, and I used up my bag of Scott's 911. And then I went on to, I tried some Vigoro, the contractor blend for Vigoro. So I'm trying that one because I haven't actually used it before. And we'll see how it goes, but I'm not going to like put any other effort in. I threw it out there. If the birds get it, fine. If the rain helps it, great. If it doesn't, great. And yeah, it's been such a late freezing spring that I have other things to focus on. Like it's like my gardening time's almost done, and I haven't been able to do it just because it's so late. So there's other stuff to do around the house.
I was talking with my brother maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was funny because his story, he was talking to me about trying to deal with his lawn, and he did it around the same time that you did it, and realized that his timing was off, and then it ended up his lawn area also ended up just flooding. So his seed
Oh, really? He doesn't
was
have
just
good
useless. No, they don't have great. They don't have great. What is it? Irrigation or whatever drainage up there. So yeah, it ended up his seed was wasted.
That's too bad.
Yeah, we got this week in PoE.
Well, our buddy Catmaster got interviewed. We got 2 weeks to catch up on here because we had Rory last week. And Rory, thank you again for coming on. It was absolutely awesome to have you. It was great to get to know you and laugh with you. You're a hilarious guy. And thanks for being so open with us and for your time. Hope you enjoyed that hour and a half, 2 hours off on a Monday afternoon
Just
for yourself after lunch. You bitch. Catmaster had the streamer interview. They hadn't done a streamer interview in a long time, and I didn't even see an announcement for it. Normally there's a tweet. Maybe I just missed it, but and there probably was. But the next time I loaded up the game, right up there, boom, streamer interview, Catmaster. And so good job, Catmaster. Cool. Congratulations. That's exciting.
Nice. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Couple MTX things, minor things. They had a whole bunch of patches come out, including the 0.2, which was huge.
Yeah, I'm just looking through them right now. The stuff that you put in there. Oh yeah, the 0.2.
I love that.
More Scarabs, Jesus.
7 more though. And that was actually like, I'm great. I'm fine with that. But that's really frustrating for me because they do such a crap job at maintaining their own. Like they're so dependent on third-party sources for legit play and filters and stuff like that, that it's like if they had a good default filter, I get them making things that need to go into a filter, like 7 brand new Scarabs. I get that just showing up in a patch post because their default filter is fantastic. Who needs it? You're just customizing other things. So if you're just using your own filter for customization's sake, pay attention to the patch notes. I get that. Kind of. But they know their default filter sucks. They know nobody uses it. And they come out with 7 new Scarabs. And you just have to be paying attention to every single patch, as opposed to them having like a dedicated brand new post. Hey, new item filter information is out.
Wouldn't you, I'm just asking on a filter though, wouldn't you want to just have all Scarabs by default just showing?
Yes, you have those catch-alls, as you would call them, just in case you did miss something, which is easy to do because the game's wiki, and it's not the wiki's fault. The wiki's just too monstrous as a job for anybody, but when you click on places like classes or base types, you don't just get a full list. You don't have a full list of all the classes. You don't have a full list of all the base types. You have to know what you're looking for to reach every item in the game. So yes, you have your catch-alls, but some of these are going to be so valuable that like you don't want your catch-all to be a massive sound like the Mirror of Kalandra would give you. You want it to be a sound.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But
there's a difference in the tiers of them. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. And now that you have so many different kinds of Scarabs, you have more than the 4 tiers of fragments that you normally would have had where they were rusted to winged. Right. So, and then you normally probably would have had maybe 6 tiers of fragments to begin with or something like that before. But now you have a lot more because they're not really tiered. They're just personal preference based. And then you have so many different kinds of fragments that give you all the way up to Uber bosses too. So it's just weird to me that they know their default filter is crap and that everybody uses NeverSync, but they add 7 new Scarabs and they don't have like a separate, they don't even have a separate place on their forum for just item filter news and updates. It's so weird to me. They know third-party information, people like the third-party tools are what you need to play the game and enjoy it. i.e. filters, and they just like every now and then, boop, and we've done this. You have to pay attention to every single patch. It's a weird concept. Like I get that if you're a nerd and you are a content creator, you should be paying attention to every patch. But it's weird to me that from their side, they know we need those third-party situations, and they're making it different. It's like ordering that Caesar salad with chicken, and they put it on the side. They know full well what you want.
I assume that it's
crazy.
I know what you're saying. I think they probably just go, well, most people are using filter blades, so it does suck though for somebody who's trying to make their own filter. But also, where are 7 new Scarabs fitting on that filter?
Yeah.
That stash tab is already packed. 7 more?
Well, they were probably already planned.
I'm sure they were, but that's so crazy.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of space left for them.
It's actually the one thing. Oh, sorry, go. You finish.
I was just going to say, with like NeverSync, whether they private message him or not, it's still like it's the mentality of it. You know, like our game is only good when other people make filters for us, why would they make it so that it's easy to miss important information?
Mm-hmm.
So that, anyway, that's weird because it's mid-league. It's not like somebody's checking the league launch post, which is typically a safe place. Okay, I'm making filters brand new. I'm going to go through the last 12 leagues and just make sure that I haven't missed anything from the wiki. You're not going to load every single patch that comes out. You're going to load the league launch, right? The big patch reveals. So anyway, that was a very minor addition and very exciting to add all those cool new things to the game. But it irked me as a content creator of the apathy towards the system.
I wish that they... So two things. One, I wish when they show this, like added 7 new Scarabs, I wish they gave you some detail of what those Scarabs did. It's one of my biggest problems with the Scarab tab and just Scarabs in general. I love what they've done with Scarabs. I love that they've gotten rid of Sextants. I love the Scarabs. They're so fun. The way that they've adjusted the tree, I think, is really cool. But it's almost too much. Like the Scarab tab right now it looks cool. It's fun to try and fill it up, but you kind of get into a mentality of like, okay, I want these 3 or 4 Scarabs, and then the whole rest of them
just stack up.
They're just there. And I, even if I wanted to change or try something different, I know I'm going to have to commit myself to, like, I understand this is pretty pathetic, but like half an hour of reading through them, figuring out what they do. I don't know what all the Scarabs do. I just pick them up. I throw them in the thing, and I know I'm playing this particular strategy on my Atlas. These Scarabs are going to work with it. So that's it. I don't really touch the other ones. So it is good. I do really like the change, but I do struggle a little bit with trying to figure out, like, which ones do I want? And do I really want to spend the time of reading through these to try and figure out how can I make all these different ones work? Or all, you know what I would love? Sounds stupid, but I would love the ability to just like shade one out or something. So I know, hey, don't go back to that one. You've decided you don't like that. Cause I can't even tell you how many times I've moused over the exact same Scarab to try and go like, oh, what's that one? And be like, oh, right, I remember that one. I don't like it.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I get you. I'm the same way. I'm a much more casual player. I will just throw them in. I wish I could. I wish both the same, that I could like gray some out and highlight some, because there's just so many on there. I need a reminder as to where the ones I like are. But I just, for the content I don't like, I just throw them in a map and then it's done. Like I'll get Alva there. I might even not even do Alva when I use the Scarab to put her in the map type of thing, but I just use them up. But at the same time, because there's so many, even with the completely, I think I have 8 out of the 10 mechanics that are blockable blocked. Mm-hmm. I still get so many Scarabs because that don't interest me, because you can only block so much. They don't let you block as much as I wish they could. So I still get so many Scarabs of things that don't interest me that I keep throwing them in. And I just have so many fluff Scarabs that I have to ignore. Like I have to get to the point where I just have to ignore a whole bunch of them. So I totally get the oversaturation of Scarabs. At the same time, it's a game where people, like you said, they change that and you like revolve your whole strategy, your Atlas passive tree, around 2 specific Scarabs that normally you would have ignored, but now they're extremely valuable for you. And
the alternative to Sextants is awesome, because Sextants was always something that I did when I wanted to really push hard, but I hated it. So this is a better medium for that, where I just have to suffer through the fact that there's some of that stuff I just don't care about or don't want. And I do like this play style better than having to deal with Sextants. It's just, there's a lot. There's just a lot. Now they've added 7 more, which is crazy. Also, and again, like we are relatively not passive players, but we don't spend hours and hours a day playing Path of Exile. I still don't know what all the icons are. And I've played since 2012. I still have to like mouse over some of them.
Like the buff and debuff icons at the top when you're playing? Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
What else? I saw that in the patch notes, the default filter was updated, and I giggled. But I feel so bad for whoever it is that's in charge of the default filter. Like they have no choice. Like they have to build the filter a certain way. And because the game has so many different base types that show up in different situations, at different rarities, at different item weights, with, of course, all the crazy different crafting recipes that they know of, that the community does know, and then the community also doesn't know. Like there's just so much because it's not their game. They just work there and they make the filter, but they have to include what the game provides as a possibility for the user, right? They know what can be hidden, but they know what can be shown. But at the same time, because of how the game's designed, so much has to show. So it's not like that's a choice they have. They just have to do the best with what's the company gives them. I feel so bad for them. Like, it's their job and it's such a huge job and nobody cares because of how the game's designed. It's the crappiest filter. Like, it's not the person that does the default filter's fault at all. It's just how all these decisions have impacted. Now it's just of stupidity and there's nothing they can do. And I feel so bad. Like, they spend all this time doing that. So when I see that default filter got updated, they're never going to be praised.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. Added 7 new Scarabs.
Oh, maybe,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I think that actually came out before the 7 Scarabs. But And then what else happened this week? Josh Strife, who I'm only familiar with when I see his face again, because he's done a couple interviews with GGG already, but he's not part of the main PoE community like we would be familiar with. Right. So he's a popular YouTuber that likes Path of Exile, but
he's done stuff with them in the past.
He's done interviews with them in the past.
Okay.
I don't follow him, so I don't know how often he does play, but he's obviously not like, you never see him in the clip highlights or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Even if, remember when the Wraeclast,
he's like a Preach or whatever the other guys that they've done. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Remember when Wraeclast, the main interviewers of Wraeclast, when Last Epoch came out, they spent a few leagues playing Last Epoch. They didn't play for 6 months or whatever the time frame was individually for each of them, and then they come back. You're familiar with them, you know them because they were part of the community for so long. That's not this guy, but he's popular. So anyway, Jonathan was on with Josh Strife, and then I forget if it's already happened or if it's going to happen, but Subtractum is going to interview Jonathan as well. That'll also have
PoE 2 still then?
It is. And like, we all know how your opinion of it regarding, and very few people have disagreed with you. I mean, it's a lot of hype, but well, I think a lot of the disagreements have come with misunderstanding your perspective. Sure. Like, you're excited for the game, but
stop talking
you can
about
only tease about so much. And I'm not going to listen to the Josh Strife interview. I'm not going to listen to Subtractum one. And I think Subtractum's great. Like, I love the last interview that they did. That Subtractum was the one where they made the makeup interview. Right. Because things just didn't work so well for them last time. Right. Yeah. And, but I'm just like, especially now that there's no, like, before it was fine for me to, and it really did turn into tolerating. Like, it was like watching more PoE 2 interviews than I would if I was binging a Netflix show. Like, it was just coming out so frequently. There was a small break and then the interviews started happening again, but there was a release date. There was like a June 7th or whatever it was beta start date. So it's like, okay, like, yes, the game has changed so much that the last 2 Exile cons were pointless outside of fan interaction. Like, nothing that's been shown at ExileCon seems to now be in Path of Exile 2. Okay, fine, whatever. But there was a June 7th release date for the beta. So you're like, okay, at some point, they just have to stick to their guns and stop changing their mind. Well, that's gone now. There's an estimated. Who knows what, there's not even an estimate. There's just, it's just been delayed. So now the company, and good for them, change their mind. Like, make the game you want to make. But from a fan's perspective, where I got to choose what to do with my time, like, if you're going to change your mind 100 times or not, like, what's the point of me listening? Like, there was almost no point to me listening to half the interviews that I've listened to because so much has changed. It was worth my time because I'm a PoE and GGG geek, but
so I have a question for you.
In terms of knowledge, it was pointless. So now what?
Something like this Josh Strife guy. So if he's not a PoE player, he's just a YouTuber or Twitch streamer or whatever he is. So I assume he's got some decent following. This is where I still struggle with their decisions. Like, my feeling would be you should be doing that type of interview as you're like weeks away or to your launch of your closed beta, because are they just going to do this all again? I checked their website, it says early access late 2024 is what it says on their site. But so are you doing all of this again when you get closer to that point? Like, or no, it just says early access in 2024. I don't get it. Like what's the, I said this last time. I don't want to feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I don't get what you're building hype for right now. There's nothing to build hype for.
It's overexposure. I'm actually, and I felt bad because I was very interested in all the PoE 2 stuff that we did with Rory, but like I'm tired of Path of Exile 2. And I think that's coupled with the fact that now there's no release date. So now, and I'm not like I've said, make the game you need to make. That's fine. But in terms of marketing, like,
wait,
I don't know if I'm supposed to care about any of this revealed information because I have no clue if it's staying. The only thing that I know is staying in the game is WASD movement because they can't stop talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know it's a game changer, so talk about as much as you need to, but because there's so much emphasis on WASD and they're revamping all the skills to accommodate WASD movement, I know that's staying. But outside of that, because there's no release date, why I
PoE 2 should have been a trailer for PoE 2 at ExileCon, and then again, another one at ExileCon 2, and then that's it. There should have been all this hype building, and when you're weeks away from releasing your closed beta or whatever you're doing, whatever they're going to do with it, that's when you build hype. Because going on to a streamer or YouTuber who's got a large audience, my only thought is you're doing that to expose your game, to build up some hype, and I'm just confused. I'm still confused. I have been confused for a long time about why. I just don't understand the timing of it. But I mean, whatever, do whatever they want to do. In the end, I don't actually care. I'm going to play PoE 2. I haven't watched any of the PoE 2 content since I got a little bit frustrated a couple months back. Well, I don't even remember how long ago it was. I've never watched any of it. I want to know it when we're weeks away. That's when I'll start looking into the stuff. And because that will also be current. It won't be what's right now, but could be changed in a month.
You're not feeding me probably pointless information because you're going to change it and make it better. Yeah, no, I'm oversaturated now. I'm done. Like when it comes out, it comes out. And if, I mean, who knows, that might change, right? There was a really cool Theta and Sid on Discord mentioned that there are going to be damage numbers on the health bars.
What?
I asked if it was going to be bubble numbers.
And that's what we talked about with BK. That's
right. And then Sid said it's like, no, it's going to be more like Elden Ring style. So it's not necessarily, yeah, but they're on the health bar. You can see the numbers tick above. And so you don't see, I mean, who knows what it's going to be like in PoE 2. And they might have gone into this.
Would that number move? Like how does that work?
But you know what? I think that's actually a really good way to do it instead of the bubble numbers that I like, because yes, and when I'm playing Elden Ring, yes, it's a much slower game.
I can't think of it in Elden Ring.
When I make a big hit, let's say I'm playing a slow two-handed hit or two-handed build, and I smash the enemy on a boss bar, I see the yellow bar show up, which indicates how much the red bar is moving down, right? The health bar. And then it shows me a number just above that, how much that hit was, right? That has a small delay and then it disappears. If I hit lots within that time frame, that delay restarts.
Does it show a total or does it show each
So it's an accumulative
hit?
Total based on damage within a time frame, but it's not from the time you started doing damage. It's from the time, if there's like a cooldown, I guess you could say. So the number will keep updating as long as it took damage within a certain time frame from its previous damage point, right? Yeah. So you might be like, oh, wow, I did 1,400 damage with that hit. That's huge. But then if you're doing a poison build, it'll show 5,000 because they've constantly been getting poisoned over the last while. Right? Yeah.
Total, right.
So, and I do like that. And no matter how GGG does it, I think that's a really smart way to do it, especially because let's say who's the guy that always does like group solo self-found, tries to break the game, has a good time. Got banned once by
Empyrean,
right. So like imagine bubble numbers in his group.
Yeah, they wouldn't see a
right. No,
thing.
that'd be so stupid. So it makes sense, though. Right?
It would look fun for one time.
Yeah, that's right. Like, you know how they break the game with drops and stuff? They break the game with bubble numbers. But no, so when you think of Path of Exile from that perspective and a co-op perspective, having the numbers only on a boss bar is a fantastic idea.
Sure.
So, I like that kind of stuff.
Where did this come from?
Additions. I think that came from the Josh Hayes interview.
Okay.
I think I haven't listened to
Strife. Is it Strife?
Oh,
Hayes?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta click on the thing. I remember you saying the word Strife.
Cat Master.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Necropolis.
Sorry. I just thought I heard the word Strife.
You're fine.
So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, no, it's Josh Strife Hayes.
Oh,
one of those jerks that uses a middle name.
God, 3 names. Get over yourself.
Tyler T-Bone Bone.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I guess, but again, they're going to add numbers, but we've never seen it. So did they just like decide this in that interview? Was this a plan beforehand? Like,
we'll have to watch it to find out. I'm not going to.
I won't watch it.
No, but like, see, those kind of things are fun, but those are the things that
are they fun? They might not even be in there. That might just be a
right. Those are things that I think are fun to discover as you're playing. Like, oh, they added this. Oh, they added this. Oh, they added this. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, yeah. You know, like that kind of stuff is like when you have all those fun things. But when you have all these interviews, you're discovering those things one at a time.
That might not be there.
Might not. But even if they are, you're watching like an hour and a half to discover 1 or 2 small details that, oh, okay. Like, it's nice that they're adding it, but like, that's a lot of time, man. Like I got stuff to do. So I don't know. It's odd. Change of pace though. To builds and stuff. This week I did, or I guess it's been 2 weeks. Sid and Theta were very persuasive on Discord about Leech with the minion build. Now I've been very excited about Leech and the new Bone Barrier Keystone Ascendancy, and it provides Leech to minion casters, minion players. And that's fantastic. And it says 1% of damage that your minions do is leached back to you as the actual character. And I think that's fantastic. And so people have been using Leech perks. They've been now, as a minion build, speccing into Leech clusters and masteries because you're getting Leech now. And it's like, oh, okay. And Leech is normally the damage you specifically deal. But now, you know, if the node itself doesn't say Leech you deal, it applies to you because you're getting Leech. So it's pretty cool, and I've been paying attention to it and watching it, and I've been kind of paying more attention to the community than I normally would because of this new thing to Bone Barrier. But people always play so differently, and it's tough to put the full picture together if you're not going to sit down for a few hours and actually study a specific person's build, and who knows which one you actually want to trust. So I included Bone Barrier, but I didn't include any investment to Bone Leech or to Leech when my builds first came out. And both Theta and Sid, of course, make very, very good and strong defensive characters like I like to as well. And they were, I mean, they're much better at it than I am, but that's what I aim for is my point, my mentality. And they were so emphatic on this mastery in the Leech, the Leech mastery where it's 10% of Leech is instant. And when you're guaranteed a certain percentage of Leech, like you're getting like a bit, anyway, it ended up being so strong that people were willing to cut their life down so much more than they were normally comfortable with because the recovery was just insane. And so I was humming and hawing about it because I like the hardcore aspect of making builds and looking around, but they were very emphatic with it. And so I respect one of my characters to try it out, and it was that good. Like I have, I think it's like 145% life now, and I hate being under 175.
I remember that one of our episodes where you were looking at my build, you're like, oh,
yeah, you had like 80% life. That wasn't.
It was over 100.
That's garbage. You probably killed it too. But anyway, no, so I have a lot less life, and I had a couple other options for me to get that extra 10%, or for me to get that mastery would cost me 4 nodes. And a lot of minion players, because they're in the north of the tree most of the time, or often, they were getting one of the Leech mastery nodes that was at the top.
Yep.
But it was like a 7-point thing, 7 points to get there. And sure, it would put me close to other clusters that were powerful, but they weren't clusters that I was willing to invest in. I would just have to change my entire build, and none of the travel nodes or minor nodes to get to this notable would be valuable for me. So it'd be like 7 or 8 nodes just for that one mastery. But they were so emphatic. Like part of the convincing factor for me to try this out is both of them were like, waste 8 nodes to get there. It's worth it.
Right.
So, but because I travel so far south for the armor and the plus to elemental max resists, there was a node called Lust for Carnage that's I path right by. And that provides the same 10% of Leech is instant, that mastery. But then there's also 2 nodes in there where 40% increased total recovery per second of Leech. So I get a total of 100% increased total recovery per second from Life Leech. And then I get the 10% instant because I'm already going so far south. So I added that to my build, my zombie build, and it's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
It really is good. Like I was so surprised how strong it was that I am very happy at 143% life. And I hate it. I hate seeing that number so low because I also reserve life too. And I'm like, sure. So, but then I started playing around. So I changed my builds, my posted builds, and I gave people a week's heads up for those that follow my builds. But then I'm like, because I reserve both clarity and life and vitality on life, which ends up being just under 1,000 life. And I'm like, oh man, I can get rid of vitality now, maybe. So now I'm like playing with vitality on, vitality off. And it's, I don't know, it's just been a fun, small concept to change and incorporate, but I did really like it. So thank you both Theta and Sid for being so emphatic about it.
Quite often when I get towards like end game stuff, my vitality is, if I'm going to run it with arrogance, is literally just for the, was it the plus to max res? If you've got life and mana reserved, it's mostly just for that bonus, but it's at like a level 1.
Sure.
Vitality. Yeah. Like vitality is cool, but it's not super strong when you're talking like scaled up end game, like even a high level 1, but that's cool. I think the new Leech thing with minions is actually a lot of fun.
It is really cool. It adds some really fun elements to it.
Yeah. I'm glad it's working now too, because when I first got it, I was like, this thing sucks. But that is cool. I'm glad it's working. Did you play this week?
Yeah, but it was all inventory and I loved it. It was so fantastic. Like,
what does that mean?
I almost broadcasted it. I almost been like, PoE inventory, come to it. I probably have more viewers than I'd ever had.
What does that mean? Like just sorting stuff?
All my tabs are full. I have nowhere to put stuff.
Oh, like what stuff? What kind of stuff
on console? On console. My wife's been like on the PC with the Stardew Valley update nonstop, so I haven't been able to play League in forever. So I've been on console and actually played a lot more. I've been trying to level up my Pawns gear in Dragon's Dogma, so that was some of my time. Because then once everything's Dragon Forged,
right? Like you got through the. Yes, you did. I remember talking about it.
And honestly, the game's even dumber now that I'm playing through a second time. I thought it'd be better.
Why? Why is it dumber?
Because the game's design in New Game Plus is different than every other version of other games New Game Plus, where the game, like in Dark Souls, the game gets harder and harder and harder.
Or changes,
right? Even Dark Souls 2, like the first New Game Plus is when the game actually started, because the drops that the bosses did were that you get different boss souls.
Like new people invading you too, and different enemies. Yeah,
and that's awesome. I love Dragon Dogma 2's idea of the game doesn't actually get harder with New Game Plus. It's just an extra opportunity to go through and do things and farm. Endings. And yeah, it has a really cool element to it. And there's a good reason for it, but it is so bad because the quests you have to do are so dumb. Half the quests are not fighting. Sneak into the castle and do this, sneak into the castle and do this, sneak into the... If you want one of the armorers, you have to like jump around the entire map to get Dwarven smithing. And both Dwarven smithing require insanely long quest lines that require so much jumping around. But the jumping around is really limited because the quest, like actually progressing the quest, is what properly allows you to unlock the world. There's certain parts of the main quest you have to do to actually unlock proper side quests.
For a lot of that stuff that you're talking about, because I went through it the second time, I knew where those stupid long quests were going to be. So I would beforehand put the port crystal where I knew I had to take them. Then I'd pick the NPC up and throw up a fairy stone, and it would carry the NPC to it, because it was so
part
dumb.
Of the bad design is because the port crystals, you have to actually put them there.
Yeah, I don't like that part.
So it's such a waste of time. And so there's so much in the, like for a game where you're designed, you're telling the user, yes, go through the campaign a whole bunch of times. What they actually ask you to go through a whole bunch of times is really boring, really dumb, really redundant, and requires
it's very different.
A lot of tolerance. It's so much worse than
the first one, because the first one was actually fully open world. You might screw yourself by going into an area that you were going to be too hard or whatever, but you could. In Dragon's Dogma 2, while you can, you have to figure it out. It's not like I just want to run to that part of the map. It's like, no,
so
you got to find this little
gated
trail that like, you know, some weird way to get around it that's not obvious. But I mean, the game is still awesome. But yeah, I get where you're coming from on there. The beginning or the running through of it for a multiple playthroughs is not the funnest.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not. But that's the entire purpose of the entire game. So it sucks because they have so many really cool elements. Combat's great. I'm level 50 something. So now when a chimera jumps in the middle of a griffin fight and then gets joined in by an ogre, yeah, I got it. Like, I'm disappointed in myself if I die. It's because I wasn't paying attention to something. Like there's, and then the
Magic Archer still.
Yep. And then just, you know, how camping works versus staying in town. Like, I like that, but it's all pointless. It's like making a game that, like, yes, we're going to make an ARPG that has like the best loot system and the infinite amount of skills and pass tree, and then coming out with like the crappiest loot filter so people can't even play it. It's the same kind of idea to me. It's like there was so much that was overlooked while focusing on other really cool elements. So anyway, I did a tiny bit of that, but I did inventory in Path of Exile, and I kind of came to a realization this week, and I've made a tough choice. So I love theory crafting. Yes, I typically always fall to zombies, and I went through a season of trying to make the Reaper work for me in the way that I like to play, and maybe hopefully replacing zombies. Didn't work out for the way that I like to play, so zombies are still number one. I love Righteous Fire. I love having the idea of Righteous Fire using any items you want and not worried about sustain and defensiveness. I love it. But I don't have the time. Like, I love those skills. Those are my three go-tos. I have a trigger happy build that I love. I love curse builds, but at the end of the day, I don't have the time to play all these different builds. I love theory crafting. I wish I could play them all and see how they go, but I just don't. I have time for one build, and then I'll play it for a few maps a week, and great. So my stash was full because I have all these fantastic theory crafting ideas and options, and some of them are old ideas that would no longer be relevant because of how the game's changed. Some of them would still be relevant, but at the end of the day, I don't have time for it. I'd love to try and figure it out and play it, but I don't. So this week, I decided I'm only going to save stuff and maintain my bone zombie build, or my zombie build, my main minion zombie build. And I'm going to get rid of or sell everything else. So I'm not going to keep maintaining the RF build or the Reaper build, and I'd love to, but the only items I'm going to save in my stash are going to revolve around my bone zombie build. And part of that is also kind of like,
what kind of items are you saving that you're not wearing?
Oh, lots of different things, like an item level 86 bone helmet, or an item level 85 amethyst ring. Especially if they're influenced, right? Because I still have stuff that's influenced. Like, I have a ton of influence stuff because they used to drop so much more frequently, right? I think they changed how influence drops a few leagues ago, but it's been like when they first introduced the new conquerors, you got so many like Redeemer and Hunter influenced items.
Is the idea in case you ever craft it, or like to just have it if you decide to craft on it, or what?
Yes, but that's also part of the thing. So I'm saving all these different things, or I have like a pair of apothecary gloves that are really high item level, and they have like an implicit that's just, or not an implicit, a fractured mod that's just really, really nice. But at the end of the day now, like, I have all these items that would be really good if I was going to do something, but I'm not going to. Like, I just don't have the time to do it. So I went through a good portion of my inventory, definitely nowhere near done, and like keeping good for my bone zombie build. Awesome, but I'm not going to use it. Like, going through rings that have easily over 100 resists, but no empty suffix, or, you know, all the prefixes are full and they didn't come with life, that kind of stuff, where it's like, man, that would be really cool, but I'm getting rid of it, all the like stuff that I can't min-max properly type of thing. So yeah, so it's been good. It's been very nice. And the idea also to kind of couple with that is that if I'm not saving stuff, gear for a specific build, I'm less likely to take the time to test it and theory craft it. You know what I mean? So it's like, then I'm less likely to save items for a build because I'd be starting from scratch. So it's kind of like a little bit of Tyler management as well. not teasing myself and just making sure that I stay focused on the one build because I only have time for the one build.
Cool.
So
well, that's good.
Yeah. But I mean, it took a tiny bit. Well, I started doing it and I've definitely already culled stuff. I haven't vendored anything, but the standard market on consoles, it's weak. I might spend a couple bucks and get a couple extra tabs just so that my big stash of selling stuff lasts into like the first week of 325. Mm-hmm. Wait, we're 324. Yeah. So like the first like month of 325, and I'll make sure that I'm online lots so people view it. But the online marketplace, just the layout of it really hinders how trade works. So it's just massive, one big page of massive lists where you can vary. You can't, if you're looking for a specific base type, it will show you all items on the marketplace of that base type. And then if you're like, okay, well, I only want Crusader boots with 25% or more movement speed. Well, it doesn't not show you the items that don't fit that description. It just grays them out and then highlights the ones that match that description. So you still have to filter through everything.
Interesting.
And so it's pages and pages. And so that's that. But on console, you're like, okay, here's a page of 30 boots. 5 of them are highlighted. You still have to go click, 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 and scroll down to each one. Click, 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 click. So
you have to do it all on the console. Like it's all within the console.
No, you can do it on the trade side as well if you wanted to. And some people do, but like PC players that play on console will do that. You're not going to get people like our friend Chris that's starting to play the game. They're going to go on their phone and figure stuff out. Like that's not how console players play console games. You know what I mean? Console players sit down on their couch and they play a console game, right? You have to bring up a laptop and it's frustrating because the game doesn't tell you things. So, yeah. So it's it is on the trade website, but that's only for a small group of people. And how many PC players are actually
playing console?
Right. We're a small minority. So. So anyway, it's been awesome. It's been really fun. I'm very actually excited to sign in and keep going through my inventory. But yeah, I assume you didn't play. You were playing Stardew?
No, I didn't play much of anything, but no, I didn't. I haven't decided if I'm going to get back into it or not. I'll play our private league, but I don't feel drawn to get back into PoE right now. My time on games is pretty limited and it's not really what I want to be doing right now. But
you know what's funny? Me being tired of quote unquote possibly irrelevant Path of Exile news and like just the oversaturation of, hey, let's talk about Path of Exile 2 for an hour and a half and not having any clue how valid those conversations are. And these poor people that really want like, yes, we'd love to talk to Jonathan. It's great for their brand. It's great for, the streamers. What are they going to ask that nobody's asked yet? Like all you're doing is repeating questions and hopefully the answers change because they keep changing their minds on stuff. Like I feel so bad for these interviewers. So
they don't care.
But my point is there's so much PoE 2 that it's making me sick of PoE 1. Like it's having the backwards effect on the current day product. So I'm still into it. I'm still going to play. But like a lot of the times this week when I was like, yeah, I should play PoE, like just, and then I turn on a different game. So, and I think it has a lot to do with just PoE 2. Yeah.
We're going to talk about Private League and After Dark then?
Yeah. And I don't know if we pointed this out or not, but there was no boss kill event this league.
I think that was After Dark last week. We talked about it. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. We should have praised GGG for that in our very first release. We should make a note for all of our league launch episodes.
No, here's when we'll praise them. When they run a boss event, but still keep that modifier to a private league available. That's when we'll praise them.
When they do both. Yes. They do the league that we want to do, but it's available to everyone. Right?
Yeah. Run your boss event because that's cool. You like those. They're fun. But you also have to keep that private league modifier available. Then we'll go, nice job. Not now. Come on. It's got to be something better. But yeah, let's chat about the private league in After Dark, and then hopefully we'll have an announcement pretty soon about it. Let's wrap this up. Forever Exile 238. I'm Justin, AK Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Patrons will catch you in After Dark. Everybody else will see you next week. More information down below. Website foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun Discord. Pop in there and say hi. Patreon, the way to support the podcast down below. Bye.